we're not back. And now we're back. For real. We're in the Grand Max Outdoor Pavilion. We have some old faces, some new ones. New ones to the live set, actually, because Lisa's been on a lot of our content lately. But you've never sat around the fire.
No.
And have you sat around a fire that's smoking like this in 90-degree heat before? Just the connection. So now I'm getting told to adjust my connection. You know what? You know what I need a connection of? I need Carlos' connection. Send me a couple of these in, brother. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we are. Okay, perfect. So, we're out here talking about music appreciation today. Next time we throw them without. So we're talking about music appreciation, and what we like to talk about here is kind of what music has done in your life and what it's done for you, and kind of how you got started. So Lisa, how did you first get started in music?
Oh boy. When I was 4 years old, my brother was taking piano lessons, and my mom asked the teacher if I could start because my brother was older than me. Teacher said, no, we don't start them till they're almost 7 years old.
Okay.
And so my brother would bring home his lesson and sit at the piano and practice his little lesson. And then, according to my mom, I would then sit down after him and I would do his exact lesson because I would watch him. And so after a few weeks, she took me to the piano lesson and said to the teacher, look, I know you don't take them till they're 7 years old, but she's playing the same thing my son is playing. What do you think? And the teacher
Gonna need you to make an exception. Yeah.
So I started at a very young age. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so kind of same thing. And did you get started with music in high school? Smitty?
No, I mean, I was in like band when I was a kid. I took I was snare drum lessons, and I've been playing like a 5-piece, drum set, regular drum set since I was like 11. So I mean, I don't know. Music's always been a part of my life too, man. Even just listen to the radio when I was a kid. I've been told plenty of times where my mom would say I would just listen to oldies or like the radio all freaking day and just be completely entranced with music and getting to know it and all that. So
what sparked your interest to start playing an instrument though, and go from like that listenership to picking up a guitar or picking up whatever and going, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to listen to it anymore. I want to actually jump into it.
Kind of similar to Lisa. I had an older sibling who was into an instrument. My older brother played guitar, and I was like, well, he's playing guitar, but I can't play guitar. I got to do something different. I got to be, anyways, I was like, dude, I want to get into drums. And I took snare drum lessons when I was in grade school for band and stuff like that. But I really got, hooked on wanting to play the drums. And that really kind of started my journey.
All right. And then Eddie, kind of the same thing. I mean, where was your origin story with music? How did that begin for you?
In like 3rd or 4th grade, they have, the middle school come with all the band instruments, and they, say, try a trumpet, try a trombone. They wanted me to play tuba because I was like the only kid who can big enough to haul it around, There you go. My parents said no to the tuba. I ended up with trumpet, and then I hated it. And around 5th grade, I started playing drums because all my friends were playing guitar, and they're like, "We need a drummer."
Yeah.
So I ended up
a need there. You saw a need.
Right. That fit right in.
Yeah.
And then they kicked me out. But
no fault of your own, I'm sure.
I don't even remember. You know what? I don't remember. But I ended up switching to percussions from trumpet because I hated that so much. And I took private lessons and played all the way up until my senior year of high school in band and jazz band and orchestra and all that stuff.
So you've been all around the block with music. Again,
I was fortunate. York had a really good program. I will say that, and it was a lot of fun.
So the trumpet thing, didn't go well for you. You started playing the trumpet, and they put this thing in your hands, but it didn't turn you off from music. It just you knew it wasn't the right.
I knew it wasn't the right instrument for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no interest in it whatsoever. Looking back on it, I mean, trumpet's a cool instrument.
It is.
I mean,
absolutely.
I didn't think so then. No.
No, it doesn't look as cool as like you rocking on a guitar or playing the drums or something.
Right.
But okay, so something you said there too was actually the exact reason why we're having this episode is public schools funding these programs, and you were direct beneficiary of
Yes,
something
yes,
like that,
Yes.
which is them bringing these instruments and saying, "Hey, see if you like any of this stuff."
Yeah.
But the interesting thing would be, what if that never happened for you?
Well, that
You know,
mean
it's like-
that would be a whole different life for me, man.
Yeah,
I was very fortunate to have very supportive parents. I still have supportive parents.
yeah,
And they encouraged me to play music, man. And I feel like without the school and having that access to
Yeah.
learn more, and I mean, get taught, music theory and, how to even take care of the instruments, man.
Yeah.
All of it,
Another thing, too, being able to
It's-
maintain your own
it's-
instrument.
Yeah, and I mean, like they're not cheap, these are,
Yeah.
I look at
That's why
it,
some of the maybe
yeah.
reason why I don't know how you grew up, but they saw the tuba. Maybe they were like, "Yeah, you can't play tuba." I don't know how much tubas
Well,
cost in
okay,
relation to like
my parents'
trumpet, but I can imagine it's
concept was
more.
like, all right, you learn how to play tuba, like you might get a scholarship and all that, but like, what are you gonna do, like, with your tuba after all that, like you're gonna play in a polka band, or I mean, it's cool, but
Yeah.
they're like, okay, like trumpet, maybe there's a little bit more opportunity there, and then
Yeah.
The group Chicago, that was my favorite group. The trumpets were like huge.
Really? Okay, yeah.
All of the, all of the horn instruments. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
and there's nothing wrong with them. I
Yeah, I
just
was gonna say.
for
wasn't
me,
your
it was
thing.
I
I get
didn't
it.
I didn't enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
that
To all
much.
you tuba
Totally
players
understand.
out there that are watching, we love you. So
Oh.
don't be discouraged. Okay?
You're very
Keep
important.
Keep playing your
'Cause
tubas.
I went into
Alright.
the popular music
Yeah.
genre,
Yeah.
and the only thing that these paid music stores, which is where I had taken piano lessons,
Yeah.
I'm not dissing them because I got a wonderful, classical background taught to me on piano.
Yeah.
But in order to get to that place where like just made my heart sing in music, it was because of a music teacher in this public school
Yeah.
who, said, "Lisa, I see this in you."
Mm.
And they built into that. And then I began having opportunities, to get into musicals, and they let me direct musicals and do music within the school system. And we,
Well, it's
the
a
whole-
creative place for everyone to
Yes.
to build with one another and create things
Yeah.
together. So
I can't think of a school not having that
And-
for the students of today. I just can't even imagine.
Yeah.
one of the points we're trying to make here too is that think about all the musicians that grew up with, in a lower socioeconomic neighborhood that
Yes.
got given a guitar in,
Yes.
middle school, and then they're icons. It's like you're going to lose that from this generation potentially, because there's people right now that aren't given the chance to learn about music.
And I think that music has, well, at least what I've experienced through music, it's taught me a lot more about teaching myself. Me and Lisa were kind of talking about this earlier. Music, for me anyways, like figuring out an instrument and being able to put yourself in a position where you have to sit there and figure this out.
Yeah.
You teach yourself. You figure out things about yourself.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
there's more to it than just, a BPM that you're playing certain notes to. And it's taught me-
Problem solving.
It is, and
Yeah,
it's
I mean-
it's learning about yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's enough of that going on nowadays. I think there's a little bit of a disconnection as far as music goes. I mean,
Yeah.
people are still attached to music in certain ways, but I feel like people aren't as engaged as they once were.
I think. Go ahead.
Well, don't you feel like music is a language? Like they teach foreign language in schools, right?
Right.
We learn French, we learn Spanish, we learn, all the different languages in the school. Music is a freaking language.
Yeah.
It's another way to communicate. And if we're not giving our students an opportunity to learn this language, oh my gosh, what a miss.
You're missing
Now,
out.
now think
What a
about that though.
miss.
I mean, for a second, like you could pick up an instrument and
Yeah.
someone else in the same room who doesn't speak the same language as you,
Can start jamming.
Can
you two can
speak your
communicate.
language.
You
Yes.
can communicate.
That's
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful. Yep.
And what were you gonna say, Eddie?
Sorry about that.
I was just gonna say teachers are so important because I think the biggest thing that they've taught me is discipline and the right ways to practice, the right ways
Yes.
to
Time management, stuff like that too. It's like
okay, for drumming, like the right way to hold the sticks.
Yeah.
As simple as that. The right velocity to be hitting and striking with, the technique, all that kind of stuff. I feel like you lose that when you don't have a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're training yourself, again, you're watching a YouTube video or you're just watching somebody and hearing it and trying to do the same thing, you're not going to be taught those fundamentals.
And that's the thing. Like I had two private teachers, and then through school there was a couple teachers there. I think from every teacher I learned something different. But the one thing they all taught me was that discipline thing. And I feel like without them drilling me into that, I don't know how good I'd be today, you know what I mean? Like, I give them a lot of credit for that.
So you guys are currently in a band, Burned in Effigy. You guys are not strangers to our stage here. So you guys have some new and exciting stuff going on. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh man, we've been writing a lot of music
Yeah.
lately, man. We've been really kicking butt in the writing aspect of things.
Hell
and,
yeah. That's, for me, that's always the hardest part when I'm writing comedy or something like that, is sitting down and like cranking out some good ideas. And, you know, are you guys writing as a group, or is it?
A little bit. It's
Yeah.
a lot of it is all collaborative, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, it's everybody brings different aspects. Or like, you know, someone will bring a riff, someone will bring in an idea. Like I'm more conceptual with like words and like, you know, how.
Well, I know your
Things.
last album and stuff was all inspired by, it was like a, well, I'm going to butcher this, but it was like a story of like a Dracula type.
Oh, it's
Character,
actually
right?
yeah. Well,
It was a
king.
concept album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a concept album.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it has to do with like a king and a monarchical reign and all that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So that was all your, well, was it all of your concept or something like that?
We're actually doing this over the next 2 albums we got coming out. So like,
Okay,
it's gonna be like a
sweet.
3-album thing we got going
Yeah,
on.
okay.
I think I give him most of the credit there.
Okay,
It was
but you guys,
a lot
again,
of it,
collaborative.
you know, it was his idea, and
Yeah.
he, I mean, I think you wrote all the lyrics on that album.
Yeah, I did.
So I mean, that was all you. So
Yeah. And it still can be a
When-
collaborative
when is this
effort
coming
because, well, this is live currently. We're going to be
Oh.
doing an
stay
episode
tuned for Tuesday.
Tuesday. So what are you guys doing Tuesday?
Can't tell you yet.
Okay. Stay tuned for Tuesday, but we'll do an edited episode maybe down the road, and that'll well, definitely down the road, and we could probably put what Tuesday was at that point. When we do the edited part.
Yeah.
It won't be a secret when you're watching this on YouTube at some point. But for right now, it is a secret. But where are you guys practicing at now? Because you guys got to get going in a
We
little
have a
while.
storage unit,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it's great. We can go be as loud as we want any time of the day.
Yeah.
We have any access. I mean, for me, okay, when I was at my parents' house, I had to carry all the drums up and down the stairs after every
Oh,
show.
Lord. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, late nights,
Yeah.
it was rough. But now I can literally pull into the building, grab the
Loading
cart.
dock.
Yeah, the loading dock.
Sweet.
Pull out the cart, put my drums on the cart, bam, right into the unit, close it up, come back
And you're
tomorrow.
good to go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
it's beautiful.
good.
I love it, and
Air
seems
conditioning.
I don't
the
think
whole deal, right?
I can't. I don't think I can go back now.
Really? Yeah. It sounds amazing, actually.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
You know?
That's pretty cool. I would have never thought to utilize a space like that for
Oh
that.
man,
but
it's great. And the
for
guy,
you guys too, it's all a central like location. You don't
Yeah.
got to bug
Yeah.
anyone's spouses or parents or anything else.
yeah, you know,
So-
it's like a nice little spot for all of us to meet up and you know, throw down and
Again, no one's getting upset about.
no, and like the guy at the storage place is all about it, man. He loves music and loves
How's
shacking up a
the
couple
sound
bands.
with the the walls? Because you have storage
Oh,
units
they're
on
tin walls.
So
the sound must
we
be.
took a bunch of clamps
Yeah.
and U-Haul blankets and clamped U-Haul blankets all around it,
Perfect.
and it
Chill
was
out.
it was
Perfect.
enough to like detonate it a little
Yeah.
bit and like not so tinny sounding in there. Yeah.
I,
It's
I was
better
wondering
now.
how's the sound. That's the only thing I would.
That was
yeah.
the first thing we did is we bought like
Yeah, right.
30 U-Haul blankets and hung them all up.
Perfect.
Put
Yep.
carpet on the floor.
Great idea.
Yeah,
Killed
we
the
actually
sound.
record and demo stuff out of there too. I mean, it's just
Oh,
like
nice.
we make the most out of it. It's a really nice space, and
Beautiful.
I'm
Good
really
idea.
proud. Like we built stuff in there. I mean, it's awesome. Like
Yeah.
we have a vocal booth. We're talking about building a riser. Like we have our studio set up, and like we do everything out of there. It's great. We love it.
That's amazing.
I'd say it's a good idea for anyone watching too. It's maybe starting a band or looking for a place to. I don't think there's a lot of people that have realized
think
they
about
could
that.
use that space for that.
Yeah.
And that's a fairly inexpensive. I don't know what they go for these days, but know.
About $250 a month
that's not. But for a
between
practice,
5 guys.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really not that
not that
bad.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's really not.
Well, that's pretty awesome. And then Lisa, I know you did stuff. I mean, you've always been involved in music, and the one thing that you were showing me recently with your house was your pandemic songs, which I thought were really funny. I hope I can bring this
They're not
up.
that funny. They're
They were funny.
They're
They're
cute.
like some parodies of some old songs that she wrote some pandemic lyrics
Okay,
to.
so that was born out of, again, music teacher in high school.
Yeah.
He used to let me, at the end of the music class, I would go to the front of the room where the piano was, because I love to do parodies.
Yeah.
And so this was back in the 80s, and I'd sit at the piano and whatever song floated my boat, like the song My Way, okay? Sinatra's My Way. Remember, I Did It My Way?
I did it my way.
So my junior high school was Gemini, and so I turned that into the Gemini Way instead of My Way, and so I did a whole parody about our school. And so like I would sit there and the whole class would just sit and listen, and and I would just do parodies on a given week. The teacher would say, I'll let you do a parody next week, write one. And so he nurtured, and like what you were saying, the discipline of writing and all of that. And I got to do that in high school. I was doing parodies. So my point is,
It's come full
as
circle.
an adult, during
always a part of your life.
during COVID, I was super depressed. All my musician stuff was probably a lot like you guys. We're stuck at home now, and I'm sitting at home with my keyboard, nothing to do. And I'm like, maybe I'll write a parody or two and put it up on my Facebook, and that's what I did. And
And she said they're bad and stuff. It only got picked up by WGN.
well, one of them they thought was cute.
So terrible that nobody except for WGN wanted to listen to it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of COVID, though, like, being hunkered down, like depressed with your keyboard, I mean, can you imagine if you didn't have that outlet, though?
Yeah.
I know.
That's
I mean,
another big thing.
That's another big thing why, like,
Yeah.
they definitely should, keep these school programs
Right.
going, man. That makes me sad. That really makes me sad. Because, like, when I was a kid, like, I don't know, music was one of, like, the coolest things you could really do. I wasn't into sports. I wasn't into to much of anything else. I mean, like, I really like music, and
it kept you out of trouble.
it did for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in. We had Battle of the Bands when I was in high school, and like freshman year I entered it, and got like third place. Junior and senior year I got second place, and or senior
Going
year,
right up that
like,
ladder.
senior year
Did you win?
Senior year I won it. And
You-
Nice. There you go.
And,
See?
like, that-
Persistence.
But like
right.
every year I wanted to make sure that like it was something that I could pursue, and it gave me something to look forward to.
Perfect.
And like just makes me sad that like some kids don't even have the potential to have that opportunity anymore.
Yeah.
Instead of getting sad, we're going to get mad out here on Bonfire Banter. We're going to start putting this in people's faces. And we're going to get some more push for public education of music. So that's what we're hoping to do here. That's the big push, is that in the next few months, we're going to be talking more about this. We're going to be reaching out to everyone who's been on the panel today. And anyone that we've been talking to, all of our friend groups, everything that we have involved in the Bonfire Banter family, and people that are musicians that are tied to us, we're going to be pushing this, and this is going to be one of our new things that we really want to raise some awareness around and see if we can make a difference in at least the Chicagoland area.
It really is
That's great,
sad, though, to think about it. I mean, okay, music, it's kind of like the ultimate subject in school. You got history, you got art, you got science, you got English, you got math. All of that's there, and to take that away,
I never thought of it like that, actually. That's a really good point.
It's the ultimate
It's
subject.
something that's actually bringing a lot of things
brings
together.
it all. Every one of those factors.
Even science or
business,
biology,
everything.
like muscle memory and stuff
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
science, you
Right.
think about the velocity you need to hit something.
Don't forget, music is also a lot of math.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
so much counting.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how much I've used my mathematical skills to get me through some rough tempo changes and things.
Yeah.
It's math and a foreign language put together.
Yeah.
I can't understand why it's not looked at.
I think even
as
in high
something
school-
important.
They counted my music classes in the same category as a foreign language, so I didn't have to take those foreign languages.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just sad.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that, and the reason why I know I was in education for a little while, and the reason why it's being taken out is because of standardized testing. So there is no music section of standardized testing.
Yeah.
And to get funded in public schools, you need to do so well on standardized tests.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's why. But then you go to college, and they actually kind of change that up. Those are usually private institutions, and then they're telling you, go learn a bunch of stuff again.
Right.
Go take all these gen ed classes and go do all these different things outside yourself to go learn a bunch of different things. But because the private schools and high schools and stuff like that have to teach to these tests, and the teachers are actually bonused out, and they're given benefits based on how well, or even just keeping your job, how well you've taught to that test and how well your students have performed on said test. So that's really where it comes into play is we're pushing something that's really not that important and we're robbing our students of opportunities to actually grow as individuals.
So how does that work then? If there's no music classes in the lower levels of education, when you get up to like that choice to go to college and you say, I want to go study music in college, I mean,
Hopefully
without
you're taking
having
some private lessons.
So
Private
is that what you
lessons,
have to do?
That's the only way. Yeah.
That's the
so
only
people
way.
who have
Money.
the ability
Yeah.
to pay
Really?
for a really good private
Wow.
lesson or private instructor, and then you've got the people who don't have the ability to
that's
do
the
that,
part
and
that's the
they're the
saddest.
ones who are getting lost.
Yes.
And
It's
they're
sickening.
usually the ones that are the most amazing
Yeah.
musicians
Yeah.
ever. I mean,
But
you
again,
look at-
it sounds like that your upbringing wasn't like poverty stricken and that you didn't have an opportunity for any of this. But you just said like, okay, you did have private lessons. You did have a family that was able to give you private lessons, but it was still nurtured in the public
in the
setting of
Yeah.
school.
Absolutely.
So it's-
absolutely.
It's not just for the people that aren't going to get access to it at all. It's still
Yeah.
for the musicians that just doing it after school every day
Yeah.
for twice a week or once a week. That's still not going to be enough. So.
So what are we going to do, Justin? What are
Well,
we
we're
gonna
gonna
do?
start getting upset about it, and we're gonna start making some moves, and we're gonna start doing what we can. So we're gonna help out every way we can. But I want to thank you guys. We're gonna start rotating some people in here, and as we're doing that, Lisa's gonna sign the axe. I don't have shoes on, so don't drop this axe. Be
No,
careful.
that's
There's
fine.
no guard
Oh
on
my God, what a
it. Find a
privilege!
space.
I'm so excited.
Lindsay, if you're ready.
Hey, Lindsay, James.
If we can get Lindsay out here,
James,
someone that can film
Lindsay, somebody.
She wants to get someone that
Somebody.
can film her. She
I
wants
get
someone
to
that-
sign the axe. Can
wants
we
someone to film.
videotape? Can we get Lindsay out
Oh,
here?
Lindsay's coming.
Lindsay's coming. Okay.
I'll take one.
So the bonfire bands
There we
are
go.
axe, and I can sign it
Down this
anywhere.
one.
I can-
Anywhere you'd like.
Anywhere you can. Just don't shut on the head. It'll rub off.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the handle, though. But, hey, guys,
Look at all these
have a good
people.
practice.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming out again.
Right on, man.
This is Smitty. This is Eddie. Burned in effigy. Wait for Tuesday, because they're coming out with something big.
And if there's any little guys out there who are
Right.
learning any instruments, stick with it. We're counting on you.
Yeah, absolutely. The future of music is in your hands, little guys and girls. So, yeah. And again, we're going to really
I'm
try to
already
do
on
our
it.
best to start getting some money and stop cutting these programs. We need these programs to stay in schools. So that's where our goal is going to be. So we're going to work
Very
our best
cool.
at that. We'll be talking to you guys soon. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Absolutely. Well, you're staying on. These
Oh, I'm
guys got to
staying.
get up. These guys are getting
get
up.
to stay.
So get the hell up.
All right.
right.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks, sir.
I love you guys
Always
so
a
much.
pleasure.
I love you guys.
Great
Good to
getting
meet
to know
you.
you. Good to meet you too.
I was going to say, Lacey, you got to stay.
Okay, I'm
You're
staying.
staying.
I'm
All right.
staying.
Let's see if we can get Joe and Sabier if they're around.
Lindsay.
You can sub them in.
Hang on one second.
Okay, we'll stall a little bit.
we wanna go live?
So this is the
live.
this is the good part about live television, is that now I get to stall everybody. Okay, we got the X. Did you find a nice little spot
So
in here?
I did.
Actually, you know what I'd like to do right
You
now?
just rubbed it off with your.
No.
I'm kidding.
Hey, actually, Amazon James, I want you to jump in here really quick.
What about
'cause
Franny?
I want to do something.
Can we bring Franny
You
in
can
here?
sign for Franny, whatever.
Oh,
but
okay.
No, I need him in. No, you come in. You come and sit in. 'Cause
I'll
I
go
want you
grab
to sign. Yeah,
Franny.
that's good. Yeah. So we're gonna do this hand in hand. You're not mic'd up, so I'm gonna do a little tradesies
gotta
here.
grab
We're
the
gonna
dog
put this
real
in
quick.
between the two of us as we're doing this. So you take this. James
Can
has
you
been
tell my
part of our
husband I
team
need
for a
Franny?
while now. We've been following the Amazon James saga, so I gotta get his name
You
on
did
this
great.
act.
I just want to say that, James and I, we do these TikTok videos and everything,
Yeah.
right? So huge part of our videos, well, mine, of course, is music. I mean,
Yes.
absolutely
Everyone
pouring
comments
the
about that on
music.
your- yeah.
Everybody is so gracious to let me know that
Yeah.
one of their favorite parts besides Franny and James is the music.
Yes.
And again, all came from this same place that we're talking about today.
Yep.
So, and even James, I know he goes out of his way to choose just the right song for his videos. So, okay.
Good. Well, we're glad to have you up, brother. Thanks for sitting down. Yeah.
Amazon James.
Amazon James, everybody. Give him
All
a
right,
round of
let's-
applause. All
You
right.
want to take Franny with you? Thank you so
Take it
much.
pretty
James.
off stage. All right, Sabier, join us on the stage here, brother. So we have Joe. And how do you pronounce your last name again?
Rojek.
Rojek? Okay. I was going to say, yeah, so I was going to say like an I. I was going to pronounce it wrong. I'm happy I asked you.
Make it like
Jackie. Yeah. And then Sabier,
What's going on?
nice to meet you as well. And we've kind of met in a weird way that we saw you guys at Claremont Collections, and I saw you at Claremont Collections. We met, and then saw you again like a month later at the Drake.
Yeah.
And you guys were both there. That's when I met Sabier.
Yeah.
We had you guys out, but first off, tell me, because I know you work with him, I met you first. Tell me what you do for a living and how you're involved in music.
You know, I've been doing mostly consulting for businesses, but now I've focused a lot of my energy in the education sector because I think the onus in this country is going to be what we can do from kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yeah.
So whether it's, you know, the arts or it's just proper guidance or, you know, career technical education, music,
Yeah.
we want to be a part of that because right now we're setting a foundation for a future. And, you know, having been very blessed to be part of a musical family,
Yeah.
I know the importance of education, and I certainly know the importance of music. Now, on the other side, my Batman suit comes on at night when I consult with some of the greats in music, like Sabier, for example.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, we have some of the most talented
Wait, he
people.
was Batman in the movie?
No, he's, hang on. It's Olivia, by the way. It's my daughter.
Hi, Olivia. How are you? I'm Joe. So, by the way, if I could just say something.
Yeah, sorry.
You're the only guy I know sitting in his yard
Yeah.
that's got a view of a skyscraper.
See,
Okay?
it's not bad, right? Yeah.
I'm telling you.
This is
I
the
can't
summer.
see it from
He
here.
can't see
I'm-
from here.
I'm
Over
too
here.
short.
It's like the Family Guy. You're like the house is right in the middle of this major city.
No, it is kind of funny because we're not like in the city.
Right.
We're about 20 minutes outside the city with no traffic.
Yeah.
But this is like the only really tall building
Yeah.
anywhere other than,
Crazy.
you know, like Michigan Avenue and
Wow.
going if you're downtown. But
We have, you know, greats like Ramsey Lewis and so forth. You know, we used to walk through Chess Records when my mom was working there as a youngster before meeting my dad at the Paul Music School at University in Lincoln Park. So we have all these great riches, but what you find is that music business is a real tough place.
Yeah.
So I've spent the last few years really working with what I call talented, hardworking people that understand grit, but also willing to put the work in to be successful. And Sabi is one of those folks that personifies that. Now,
Oh,
you
thanks,
could say
man.
someone's talented, you could say
Very nice.
someone's good looking, you could say someone does this, but the music's got to be good too.
yes.
So if I love the music, that makes it all the more worthwhile to get involved. So
Absolutely. So, and then Sabier, what is your role in music right now? What are you doing currently with music? And, you know, has that been the same thing you've always been doing music, or has you kind of evolved in this process?
Well, I think just like music is always an evolving process.
Yeah.
You know, I started playing drums when I was 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a percussionist.
Yeah.
So I used to take private lessons.
Okay.
Started playing drums in middle school, but we
Yeah.
had a real good program at the age of, I'd say we were about 10 or 11, we were already playing in restaurants.
So that was, but you said you got in school with
Yeah.
some of this?
Yeah, I was in school. I went to a
Yeah.
school called Lindop. It was
Okay.
like one of the top middle schools for like music.
Okay. Was it specifically for music, or was it a public school that had a
no,
good
it was
music
just
program?
a public school.
So you
and
got it kind of lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just like banging on stuff.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, it's like you didn't get to like choose. Your parents didn't say, oh, he's musically inclined, we're going to send him to a special musical
Oh,
school.
no. It
You
was,
just were in a neighborhood that had a good music program, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
It was a tough road too because
Yeah.
when I first tried out to become a percussionist, they made me take a coordination test, and the guy told me the director, he told me that I wasn't good enough to play drums.
He told you that?
Yeah, he told me.
What?
Yeah.
So
That sounds like the opposite thing to say to a child.
Yeah, right.
You're not good enough.
so
No
I'm
way
like,
you can learn it.
Yeah.
so I'm like 8 or 9 hearing that from
Sounds like it motivated you at some
Yeah.
point, though. I mean,
yeah, so he gave me a trumpet. I played trumpet for 2 years. But me, I don't take no for an answer.
yeah,
so,
see?
so I kept practicing. I got private
Absolutely.
lessons, and eventually about 2 years, I played trumpet for 2 years, and then
Yeah.
I was able to make it to play drums. So I was playing drum set, playing jazz and swing.
Okay.
So
What got you? Did your family listen to that kind of music, or was it the teacher that got you into jazz and swing, or was it just the fact that you had a trumpet in your hand?
well, you know the
Yeah.
old commercials you used to see, like music commercials with drummers and different stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, like Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Like my favorite drummer is Dennis Chambers.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a legendary funk musician, percussionist. So watching him, I just wanted to be just like him. So
Okay.
that's what got me into playing drums.
Yeah.
So as I was playing in middle school, I was playing drum set, played jazz and swing, and then I went to high school where I switched over to marching band. Then went to college, got a scholarship, traveled all over the world. Our band, we used to do private parties for the presidents.
For the president? What?
For the president of the United States. So
Really?
yeah, so
That's crazy to say. Like, for the president, I'm like, oh, what? Like your school? Or,
Nah,
the United States. I was
just
like,
a little
oh.
bit higher. Just a little bit
Like
higher.
what? That's crazy.
Yeah, we did
I'm like,
private-
how old were you at that point? High school?
High school, that was around this time. I had to be around 16.
Okay.
16, and then when we started really doing the private parties and stuff, I was around 18, 19.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, did private parties for Bill Clinton.
What?
Did private parties for George Bush. Literally, we did a party in the hangar where Air Force One was flying down.
That is
right in front of us.
insane. What? How does this opportunity given to? How did this happen? That seems insane to me.
Well, we were very good.
You had to be. Clearly, you were very good.
It was very good, and our program was pretty national.
Yeah.
It was HBCU, the college.
Okay. Yeah. What college is it?
University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Okay.
And really to even get those type of jobs, you have to have a lot of donations, a lot of people that's backing you.
Yeah.
A lot of politicians started over, a lot of politicians and different governors that used to come down. Because a lot of them had to go through the state of Arkansas to do their runs, their political runs and everything.
Yeah.
So we were just that good that we was able to do that.
Well, it sounds like you were elite level good to be doing those kind of shows.
Yeah, I don't know if I have it the same as back then, but yeah, we were at the top of our game.
And when I was playing on the football team and the marching band is in front of us, I would go up to the guys that were in the marching band and be like, you don't know how much that jacks me up to like walk out with you guys in front of us. Like the ambiance of it, like everything about it was so cool that it's like, I think that a lot of them didn't realize that it meant a lot to us.
Oh,
yeah,
You know, just that they were there, that you're obviously dedicated to your craft too. And for you to, for the marching band that I went to school with, to like show up and do their thing just for our football games, it was pretty cool. So
yeah, it's funny because band has always had that stereotypical look as not just being kind of lame, not really cool, like American Pie one time at band camp.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
But yeah, when I was coming up, it started shifting
be
to
cool,
be a cool thing. It got to the point where people were coming to the game, the football game for the
music.
team. They was going there for a fifth quarter.
Well, I was
Fifth
gonna
quarter
say,
was when we was playing.
unless your team was like state champs, sounds like you were the main course and they were the the football team was the appetizer.
We was the definitely main course. Sad
That's
to
cool
say.
though.
Yeah.
So as far as what you're currently doing in music, then you're doing producing?
Yeah, so me and Joe started a studio called Untitled Society Studios. What we do, we take in local artists all around Chicago and areas, and we pretty much help them start their music career or enhance the music career.
let me get a brew, dude.
Production, audio recording, just making sure they get that industry standard sound, as well as teach people how to have business etiquette in the music industry.
Okay.
Alongside that, we do a lot of production for TV, so I do a lot of sync licensing. For,
This is Lisa's.
VH1, MTV.
Can you just
So
take
you say
it
it
so
was
I
sync
don't have to have my
licensing?
hands up?
Yeah, so pretty much doing the background music for different TV shows to just make the shows more dramatic
Did
and
they
build
give
up.
you like the edited version without the music, and they're like, do something with this, basically, or what?
Sometimes
Okay,
it depends. Like we recently worked on a show of Tyler Perry.
Okay.
And they send us the scenes early,
Okay.
and they tell us we need something. And
this is where it gets dramatic. Like, make it dramatic, or
But, the more you dig into that, though, is he may have to create 25, 30 tracks for that one scene for them to choose.
25, 30 tracks.
Yeah.
that's minimum.
So when you think about that for a moment, like imagine if you and
That's
I were
insane.
creating a track, right?
Yeah.
it would take us half a day to put that track, and we'd be like, yeah, this is great.
I love this.
And then, you know, with him
They're
and
like,
I,
"No, no."
we could put something together, and he's got like 5 ideas for a 20-bar sequence, and that in and of itself could become this incredible bass line for the top 20 VH1 awards, you know, like a top hit.
Yeah.
And so when you really think about it, you know, we live in this real picky, choosy world. We think we like something, put someone that's, you know, sexy, incredibly talented in front of the camera, and you just hope all the stars align. But behind all that is a guy like Xavier,
Yeah.
who's going to create 30, 40 tracks to get the artist to actually come out of their shell.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like fertilizer. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
literally
absolutely.
sprinkling this fertilizer on the artist,
That
and
magic
they're going to
dust.
feel a vibe, and then all of a sudden it's going to be boom to the moon.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
And it's a very fast-paced industry. Like when we first started doing it, to even get any type of placements, literally did 800 tracks in 1 year.
And that was just for a show or like for a portfolio?
That was portfolio.
Yeah. Jesus.
And
Yeah.
hopefully out of that 800, you can get at least 50 placed. So
Yeah.
So
it's
like,
very competitive.
so like Love and Hip Hop or one of those shows,
Yeah.
the lady or the guy's coming out of their car, the door's opening to the
There's a
scene
little
going to the restaurant. That little bit of music is that
Someone's
sync
creating
license,
that.
and
Yeah, it's
is-
like-
that's a Xavier scene, you know.
Is it that shows like that?
Yeah, so I pretty much have a residency with Love and Hip Hop.
With Love and Hip Hop?
Yeah, I pretty much do Love and Hip Hop, Miami, Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, Hollywood.
That'll keep you busy all year long. It's just the
Little
Love
bit,
and Hip Hop
yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much all you do at this moment with those shows, or is it like still
No,
a bunch of
well,
other stuff?
Well, I'm actually working on a show right now, 50 Cent, a new show 50 Cent is producing
Really?
right now. So currently working on that music.
Where is that being shot out of, and where are you staying in Chicago to do your work, and
Well,
then you send it over? Or what?
Well, that's the cool thing about it. I get to just pretty much either work at home, work
Yeah.
anywhere, as long as
Yeah.
I can have Wi-Fi and I'm able to send stuff.
Send big files, I'm sure. and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, so they-
quality files. Yeah.
So they just send me an email and they
Okay.
just let me know, hey, we need this type of
Yeah.
sound. Do you have it?
Okay. Have you
And
sent like an email to Curtis Jackson, be like, you know what? I just really need your ear for it. I'm gonna need you to come in studio. Have you ever like done that yet or no? No. Curtis, I'm gonna need you here to put your. That's the only way. Okay, so. Joe, I got a question for you too.
Yeah.
We're gonna start subbing some other people in here too as we go, but you were saying that you grew up in a musical family.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that as I'm gonna make you multitask
Signing,
here.
sure.
You're gonna sign this as you tell me about your childhood and your musical family.
Well, it's
you
funny
talked about.
because, you know, we call our instruments our acts, right?
Yeah.
Saxophone,
Yeah,
clarinet.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I actually grew up listening to jazz primarily. My dad introduced me to everyone from Duke Ellington, Count Basie, to Stanley Turrentine, to Sonny Stitt, Gene Ammons. These are great tenor saxophonists. They had a big Chicago presence at one time or another. And then I started getting into things even as crazy as like a Barry Manilow or something like that. And so you get all this different exposure, and you're growing up in the 80s when things like bands like Def Leppard and Poison were coming out. So you got all this stuff hitting the Kool-Aid, and then all of a sudden Run DMC comes out.
Ooh, yeah. Gotta change
So
the game.
everything's changing the game. You're
Yeah.
part of that. And then you realize like the history, origin of music. During that whole time, I actually played classical clarinet primarily.
Okay.
My dad said, start there. You can make the transition to saxophone a lot easier.
Okay.
And that's the truth. Because you don't, if you start on saxophone, going to clarinet, it's much more difficult. And it ended up being part of some really good bands in high school, and paid for my college tuition at the University of Illinois. So
Hell yeah.
my dad's like,
Yeah, that's
no
big-
football
big
for
help.
you, son.
Yeah.
You're playing
Yeah.
this act.
Yes,
So,
you got it. You
but-
figured out how we're making college free.
But
Yeah.
but you got to share in the fun of music. Like if you just say practice, kids, Suzuki
Yes.
Method on piano, get out there and practice. You know, most people that quit, they didn't find enough drive in themselves to want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's very few people that are held at some threatening stage and say, you better be good, and then you better be good, and then they become great. You got to kind of feel
Yeah.
it and enjoy it and
Totally
go
agree.
to concerts. So
Yeah.
the other big part of this was my parents took us to live concerts,
Okay.
jazz clubs,
So they
blues
nurtured
clubs.
that in you too, with like just exposing you to those environments.
I'd be a 10-year-old
Yeah.
kid in a 21 and over bar with my dad, and somehow they'd just say, "Oh yeah, let him in." My dad was a musician,
Yeah.
so Matter of fact, when he was at DePaul University, the group Chicago, the band.
Oh, we
those
should have
guys-
Lisa out here. She'd be drooling over this.
Yeah,
story.
they were part of that ensemble. Probably one of the most important things that we're doing right now is helping people that need more guidance on the musicality part. So anyone can take your money and do a recording session and say, I'm going to get the bass levels just right, and we're going to use these pro audio tools, and we're going to make you sound great. But if you're putting perfume on a pig, it's not going to work. You've got to help people understand the basic structure of their music. Is that head or that bridge set up properly? Are you saying too much? Sometimes you'll have someone that's trying to say too much in a song. You got to break it down to something more simple. People are hearing songs at 3 minutes a clip, and if you're putting too much into it, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's never going to get to your radio station. So save that for when you're successful and you want to throw that out when you got it bought in. So, but I would say Lunar Society Studios at Fort Knox does a tremendous job.
You say Fort Knox. Where is this at?
Oh, a Knox near Montrose. Fort Knox
Okay.
is a building just south. I know it's
I'm confused.
They might think about Fort Knox,
Yeah,
Fort
like,
Knox with all the money.
Where are we at here? You guys are big time. So say it again, sir.
So Fort Knox Studios, just south of Montrose on Knox Avenue, near 9094.
Okay.
You have people like Lady Gaga coming in there do her
wow.
rehearsals, practices.
Yeah.
Chance would come through there a lot.
So you guys are small time.
We're small time in a big environment,
Yeah, I
and
know.
a shout out to 2112 Scott Fetter, what he's doing over there, just pulling stuff together, and you guys too. What you're doing to bring music to life and give people a chance. I'm sure there's someone that's watching this video right now, and they're saying, there was something I just learned that I was struggling with.
Yeah.
And you don't want people to give up on their craft, because as soon as they do, they're a stop out or a drop out for a minute, and they might not be encouraged to go back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. What I'm going to say to the production team inside is if we could get Joe's mic on Sarang and get Sarang in here next, that would be great. And I'm going to finish up with Sabier as well, guys. So thank you so much,
Thanks,
man.
brother. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Take care.
We're talking to you soon.
you.
Thanks
Thank
so much.
you.
I learned a ton just sitting here. That was awesome. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Carlos Shoemaker, everybody. He's stuck it on the
I'll see you, bud.
I see him.
You said access. I thought you were like access. I thought you were
Hey,
making
you
a
got to
fuss.
sign the X too, so give the X over to Carlos as
Holy
well. Watch his toes. There's no guard on that thing. Well, great to meet you, man. I hope you hang out for a little while because we're going to be done here in a little bit, and I'd like to pick your brain a little bit more off screen too.
Oh man, definitely. And shout out to Bonfire Banter.
Hell yeah. All right,
Okay,
thank you
good.
so much, man. We'll see you soon, Sabier.
Cheers, brother. Nice meeting you.
Oh man,
Cheers,
likewise.
Cheers.
All right, Carlos, jump here for right now.
Jump. I'm jumping.
Jump. Keep jumping, baby.
Here's the access.
All right, so you got on the X. All right, so I'd like to ask you, was in Coal City, because you went to, did you go to high school in Coal City?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So this is down south a little bit. What was their music program like? Did they have one?
So here's what I'll say. For a small town, it was awesome, and I think for a big town, it would have been great. There was a lot of different options, I guess. There's different choirs, and then we had theater. I think my freshman year or sophomore year, they completely redid the theater, right? So it ended up being a huge renovation. So I think on top of that, people, I don't know what it was before I went, obviously, but I mean, it was pretty great caliber productions as far as like the choirs goes. My sophomore year was the first time they actually taught a guitar class, and that's how I started learning guitar. Actually, was I signed up for that. So it was good. The leaders were awesome. I think from as like 4th, 5th grade, we had some awesome teachers that were really passionate.
Your music interest was really nurtured in the public school setting, you know. And
Are we
without
live right
that-
now?
Yeah, we're live, baby girl.
Hi.
Absolutely. So, Ruggy, you mic'd up yet?
Maybe. Hold on.
Walk inside, get mic'd up. Oh, there you go. Joe's trying to find us.
Hey, shalom, boys.
Hey,
Cheers.
Sarang's coming in. He's the one with the shiniest dome in the building. Now, Sarang is in the building.
How you doing?
Sarang is a good friend, right? Pandev?
Londo. Yeah.
Pandev. Okay. So, Sarang is in the building. We had another new guest on tonight. And Sarang has had a lot of different successes for years in the music industry. And he's just another genre of music and another story that I really wanted to bring out today. So, Sarang, tell us a little bit about some of your main successes in music, and then maybe a little bit about how you got started.
It was a learning experience for me, and
Liquid Hot Magma. Sorry, I gotta cut you off. How does that name come to be? Liquid Hot. Is this like
Literally
what
Austin Powers.
right. We're not thinking.
What do you play?
Well, okay, in that band, I actually did play piano. I was 29 when we started that band.
I knew you were a penis.
And when I was 31, we decided we need piano in the band, but we don't want to add another player. So they're like, you need to learn. I'm like, okay. So
you do what you gotta do.
I like practiced like 16 hours a day for like a couple of months, and then got on stage, started playing piano. I'm not saying I played piano great, but I added the keyboards.
So who was your icon? What motivated you to learn piano?
Just that. We needed somebody in the band to
That
play
was it.
Piano was never my instrument that I wanted to play. I would say probably
You were just
guitar
filling the
was.
void for like.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I learned it though, because it took me to a whole different level on what I'm capable of doing with writing music.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so after that, I did The Power Cosmic, which was just me doing my own like solo stuff, and like I would write everything in GarageBand on MIDI, and then I would bring in real players to replace the MIDI with real instruments.
Okay.
And so that I did for a long time, and it just took me in whatever direction I wanted musically. And then now, the band I'm in now, it's more of a, I don't know what to call it. We're a studio artist because it's mainly just recording and releasing, but I mean, it's
genre?
amazing, various versions of rock. Like,
Yeah.
okay, the songs we have ready to come out right now, like one sounds like The Offspring, another one sounds like, Doobie Brothers. Another one sounds like Steve Miller Band, and then there's another one that's like really fast thrash metal. It's actually a punk rock metal version of Hits from the Bong.
I hear that.
Cypress Hill?
Yes.
Yeah. We
Which-
might have to have you do some sampling inside of that.
Which leads into what we're actually releasing, which is 12 months of all songs about weed.
You told me this when we met up a
it'll be
couple
starting
of
in a
months
couple
ago.
of months.
Talking about
That's with my new group,
Sure, you
Temple
call
of
the
Dome.
cops.
So, okay, but yeah, so I mean, that's all the stuff I've been doing.
And are you playing keyboard in those too, or what are you playing in those?
Live, I have played a little bit of keyboard, but mainly I'm
He's
just
singing.
singing.
What do you
I'm
love
singing.
playing?
He's a
Oh,
singer.
you're a vocalist.
Yeah, I'm a singer.
He
Oh,
plays the
nice.
vocal cords.
Yeah, dude. he
Are we
plays
gonna
the
get
real
down
thing.
tonight or?
Hang on.
Okay, so I'll talk about that.
Hey, no, I want to get to. Okay, go.
Well, what I was something I was going to talk about is like I love the various versions of music that you can. Okay, like to me, it's the one form of art that the people who don't make it can enjoy on the highest level. Like I can enjoy a painting or a sculpting or any of that stuff. All the other forms of art, yeah, they maybe make you feel an emotion. Music makes you jump out of your seat, even if
Yeah.
you're not the musician.
I get-
Like, that to me is amazing. That was my first experience. It's like it gave me, like I had a lot of trouble making friends till I was like in my teens, and it gave me a way to share what I was feeling with someone without having someone
Is it
there.
common?
Was your origin story into music? Did you
Oh,
do
man.
anything in a public school? Did you learn
So,
at that young age?
as a kid, I mean, I just had a musical natural like ability, but I didn't
okay.
train on anything. And I mean, to put it simply, I was working and I started humming the bass line from Longview, a Green Day song, and this guy that I was working with started singing it, and I'm like, hey man, you want to start a band? And I started singing. That's it. It was that simple, and that's how Swizzle Tree started. But from there, I started actually taking seriously, trying to understand how guitar works and stuff. Even at this point, I can write things on guitar and piano that a guitarist and piano wouldn't come up with, and they're like blown away by it. But then they learn it and play it way better than I ever could have.
Oh,
You know what
that's
I mean?
a
Like,
musician though.
Yeah,
They'll
I have, like,
improvise.
and that's what I was gonna say when you were talking about jamming later. There are people that are either brilliant with their instrument or get to the point of becoming brilliant with their instrument, and they can sit back and just play. That's not something I can do. I can come up with things that are extremely unique and whatever, but I'm a composer. I sit down and perfect my ideas, and and especially with what I've learned from, like, okay, so one thing I learned, it was after a very intoxicated night of listening to radio.
yes.
I've always, okay, so
It's the best music stories.
so I grew up mainly in a family that was like, okay, you can't lose your Indian roots, so you gotta watch Indian
Okay.
movies and this and that, and Indian music and all that. So a lot of Indian melodic ideas are just drilled into my brain.
Yeah.
And my band members could never figure it out. Then, people would tell me like that doesn't make sense. I'm like, why? They're like, this not major or minor. I'm like, I don't care. You know, it sounds
Yeah.
good. Then after listening to Radiohead, I was like, well, they're not doing that either. What the hell? You know, like
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
breaking all these rules. So, I had a discussion with a friend of mine. Like, basically, I finally learned how to merge Eastern melodic ideas with Western like chord theory and all this stuff.
It
And,
reminds me of System and like their Armenian influence.
yes, exactly. And I learned how to. I finally learned how all that works, and it just like brought me to this whole new level of how to write music, and that made me realize. And since then, I still have not stopped learning new stuff I can do with it. You know, and that's what I love,
Lifelong,
about it.
baby. It's lifelong.
It just goes on and on.
Yeah.
But okay, so then there's a whole nother aspect of music that I bet nobody has discussed because I don't know anybody else has ever thought of this. But so I'm not a superstitious person. I don't believe in the supernatural. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. It's all logic and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I can't deny that I don't know what emotions are. They don't make sense to me. Why do they exist? Yada yada, right? So every mathematical equation that exists out there that I know of has a reason in the physical universe, you know, like geometry or whatever. But then there's music theory. And here's what's weird about it. There is a very specific, and it's expansive. It's very expansive. It's not just major and minor. It's extremely expansive, and there's various ways you can go about it. But it's so precise that when you play sour notes, everybody feels it and doesn't like it. All right?
Good point.
But
It's universal. It's like, yeah.
but here's the thing, all right? There is no purpose for that mathematics to exist except to create emotion. Like there is no physical reason for it to exist. Like it's almost divine to me. Like it's I mean, and I'm not saying that's something that affects my daily use or whatever about music, but it's something I realize and I'm like, what is this? Like, why is there this mathematics for something that only matters to making us feel something?
Yeah, no, that's
Like,
that's a
blew my
really good
mind,
point.
man.
Magic,
And we're
yeah.
not even smoking weed right now.
Speak for yourself.
Well, music is one of those things where like you
That's a
hear,
great point, though. by the way.
you hear a couple of notes, or you hear like a riff, a start off, or even like a drum setup. Like you hear that and it brings you back. It's like they say like a scent.
nostalgia.
can
Oh my
bring
God, I was
you
gonna say,
back.
just like a smell. It's that
Smell
same
will
thing.
bring you back. Like when I smell this, I think of camping when I was a kid in the coastal
The
area.
power of the nostalgia of music. It's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
powerful.
Concert.
And it could be a couple
bass line.
notes. It could be something that was off of a song that
Like-
maybe you haven't heard in 30 years. And it's
Like
like,
everybody knows
oh
the song.
my God.
That one in like Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz. I've started playing
Like
that one
walk
live.
this
That's
way.
all
Everybody
the
knows
other-
walk this way. Like,
Yeah, that's a good
it's
one.
at some point the culture everybody has like the common
that
denominator
as
except
this
like
is a good song.
yeah, like Sweet Home Alabama. Like everybody knows that set.
You know, you talked about the chill, the chill going up your spine or whatever. Actually, that's funny. That's a lyric in one of my new songs. But
There you
so
Plug
okay,
it.
I ain't listening to it then.
yeah, sure. Okay,
You guys
so,
want a beer?
yes, please.
Four Millers?
I'll take one.
Yeah.
Let's go. I got you.
So, okay, so do you know what the zone is? Like, okay,
Flow state, is that what you mean?
yeah, that might be another way to describe it. Okay, so you're like just doing something sport related, and all of a sudden,
Yes, you zone in.
your brain moves faster.
Hey,
the world around you
don't
goes
harass
slower,
my sister-in-law,
and it's
all right?
almost like the ball. Ooh, my best example of it, because this is like one sport
one?
thing. It totally happened to me. When I finally listened to my coach saying, keep your eye on the ball. So I did it, and all of a sudden, it's like time froze.
Yeah.
And I was
You
able
saw
to think
the
to
bat
myself,
hit the ball.
I've had times when
Toss him in. Toss him in.
when I was
See
about
what we
to
got.
have
See
a
what we all got
really
hands.
bad
See
wipeout
what we all got
fall.
hands. Oh, okay, we're 100%.
I was about to have a really bad fall, and time slowed down, and I was able to twist my body to fall in the right direction. You know, like things like the zone, right?
Stuff like that, yeah.
So that's a sports thing, but again, like
what chord did you strum while you were falling?
Write this down.
So, okay, so like I was saying before, how the appreciation of this art is on another level compared to other arts. I feel like when I'm listening to certain songs, the zone hits me. Not when I'm playing them only, but when I'm just listening to a song, that chill happens and everything just, it's like you
down.
get
When's
in
the
this
last
zone.
time it's happened?
Do you have any? Yeah.
Last time it happened, I was driving home and I heard this song, Handlebars.
Okay.
I can remember.
Was it
no
about
handlebars.
mustache?
And
We don't know that music.
it was crazy.
Carlos
man. Like,
knows it.
this had never happened to me before, and it just all of a sudden, I just got like I just felt elated. You know, I don't know how else to describe it. Another song that did it to
There's
me.
kids here.
Another thing that did it to me was man, I don't remember the name of the song, but it's by Gautier.
Okay.
You know, You didn't have to cut me out.
Yes, dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
like-
somebody that I used to know.
Yeah. Oh my God! It just took. I'm like double fist.
Somebody that you used to know or something like that.
It brings you back. Like what I love about music is like I love a certain band, and then I'll hear a song I never heard. Like you were talking about Radiohead. I heard this song "Fake Plastic Trees" by Radiohead, and I'm like, oh my! I've never heard it before in my life. But you throw on the Spotify or you throw on like
it just
Apple
gives
Music,
you something you never
and then
heard.
it just suggests you. Like I almost like that, and that's why I kind of miss radio because I know the best music. Everybody knows the best music.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What I like to do now is just like pick a song I like, create a station, and that Fake Plastic Trees song, it's like, dude, like this is my jam now.
That's what's tough is there's so much good music out there.
Yeah.
You can't find
And I
all
gotta
of
go
it.
to I gotta go to
green
Florida.
plastic watering can.
gotta go to
I
Florida
never thought
games.
I'd be like green plastic.
So
Like that is the jam.
I
That's
never
the
thought a
chills you
song
don't
called
expect.
Handlebars would get you
Yes.
there. And I know the song is way deeper than that lyric. I get it.
yeah,
but still,
yeah,
you know, here's my follow-up question. I know you got a kid. You mentioned you've got a kid.
I have.
don't know if you-
No.
Okay, for you two then. Did the way your child is like learning music affect? Like, how did it affect you? And let me tell you how it affected me. Like, there's always stigma with music as you grow up. You know, like I thought I wasn't hardcore white enough to go to metal shows. I thought I wasn't black enough to go to rap shows. You know, like
some 41's guitarist.
people would like,
know some 41's.
Dude, yes, we actually played a show with those
He
guys.
makes
like,
you
right
look
before
white.
they got huge.
He makes you look white though. He's an Indian dude.
we got about a bunch of guys on the stage right now that have probably been told that they were a million
Do you
different
like some 41?
nationalities.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like them. I like the music I've heard, but I haven't heard a lot of it.
Yeah.
But again, a band we played with at the Metro.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
out.
Right before their big single came out, we were on tour with. They were on tour with Catch 22 and Bowling for Soup. And there was a while there whenever Metro or somebody needed like a local band that'll just add another 50 to 100 people, they would call us, or we'd be one of the bands they would call.
You
So,
guys were the whole album for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
wait, hold on. Let me get back to what I was saying.
Yeah,
so,
go. There you
So, you know, as I also had these stigmas about what music is cool and what's not.
Yes.
And then pop is not cool if you're a rocker. You know, like
Right,
boy bands are
see?
so lame. And
Pop's kind
you
of
know,
cool though sometimes.
And that's the point I'm getting to.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so I always. I guess I would call it a guilty pleasure because I said I didn't like it and I didn't listen to it, but
Yes.
I didn't understand why I was not supposed to like it.
Pop
Well, you're a
country.
poser if you like it.
So when
yeah,
my-
let him in. Yeah.
So as my daughter got to the first things we realized with her, was she was like you know, just like 6 months old, she would pull herself up and start jamming to Radiohead. So we're like, okay, this kid's got music in her, you know. So we made sure we focused music towards it, and we found an app called Vivo, and I would just play what's popular. And after seeing so much pop, I was like, okay, mind is opened. I'm not judging anything. I'm gonna let her like what she likes.
What
You know,
songs steered you away?
Okay, so the things that blew my mind were, finally, after watching Britney Spears videos, I was like, these are some really interesting chord progressions. What is going on? Like, and I looked these things up and I realized the people
Like
who write
Toxic?
Toxic is awesome, but
Amazing.
not just that, but the baby song, you know, hit me baby one more time. Like I was just listening, I'm like, the actual musical composition is really good, you know, and then I started listening to more pop stuff, and one thing I really absolutely loved was I loved having my daughter watch Katy Perry, because there was this video Roar, and what I loved about it is like she is nothing but sexy in it, but at the same time total pro women. You know, I don't know what to do about my new music. How do I play songs to her that are back to my dealer, bag in my pocket, the
You're in a situation like a Will Ferrell or like some of these people that are like, how can I show my kids my movies?
And like seriously, like they don't know what these words mean.
Or Eminem,
So
for
as I
that
go ahead and play it, and and she doesn't memorize them fast enough, so it doesn't matter. But still, they know the names of the song, and like my son will be like, "Baba, Baba, bag in pocket." I'm like, oh crap.
Only say that in the house.
You know, and one thing that happened when we got signed, we went to Nashville to write songs with other people that are songwriters, and like one thing I realized in those sessions is my lyrics don't really make sense. They're fun to listen to, they're fun to sing along with, but if you're to read them, it doesn't quite always follow the proper patterns of making sense in a statement, you know? And like, at that point, I like had this epiphany, and ever since then, all my lyrics make sense, even if I'm writing about weed, which is a lot lately. My lyrics are still like not dumb, you know what I mean? Which is different for me, but it's so messed up because there are some bands.
Some of the
that
dumbest lyrics And the songs are great.
There are some
songs, though.
bands or artists or whatever you want to call it whose songs I love.
Tequila has
nothing.
4 words in it.
One of my favorite, two of my favorite artists, Beck and Stone Temple Pilots. Half the music half their words mean nothing to me. I just don't get what you're talking about. I just don't, you know. And
STP is my favorite song to jam to.
dude, it's like, you know, okay, we were talking about Radiohead earlier.
Plush
and
is my go-to.
Okay, so Plush is a great example of this, and so is, okay, so here's the thing. What Radiohead and STP to me represents something that applies to the Beatles. Okay, so the Beatles,
Like Oasis-ish?
so the Beatles in their early days wrote very basic, poppy, simple stuff with fun to sing along melodies, right? And then as time passed, they got way more theoretical with their ideas and intricate and catchy, but not poppy as nearly as poppy. So then that was stuck in my head, right? So then when I heard Radiohead and all the weird stuff they do, I was like, that's what happens when you stop being poppy and you get complicated and yada yada, right?
Yeah.
And then to be poppy, you have to be like that. That was my belief. Then one day I sat down and started learning STP songs on guitar.
Yes.
And I was just like, what the hell? And these songs that to me are pop, they're pop rock. I can just sing along with this.
Waking out
They constantly, yeah,
That E that they hit on to find it.
all the chord progressions.
Yeah.
They don't care about major or minor. They just play these like blues progressions that have all these chromatic things in them, and it's just, I had no idea that they were not doing basic because their lyrics and melody were so fun to sing along to, so catchy. I just assumed when you go off the pattern to go do weird stuff, you have to give up catchiness.
Yeah.
And STP totally proved me wrong, you know?
Wow.
You guys have done a great job. Everyone else who's on here tonight has done a great job. Keep following us. Keep watching for what we're going to do with this, because there will be an opportunity where we can make a difference. So please stay tuned. Until then, keep stoking those fires, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you, boys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, man.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Always.
Oh, shit.
Let's
Hold
get a
on.
jam
Look at the
session
chair,
going.
man.
Let's get a
I'm
little jam session going.
Jamming it out.